Hi everyone, Joseph Lavoie here. Welcome to Business is Politics. Barcelona is experiencing an Airbnb backlash. So the city's tourists got a little bit of an unexpected welcome last week when a bunch of locals, and by a bunch I mean several thousands, took to the streets with placards telling tourists to quote unquote go home. Why? Well, because no surprise, the short-term rental market is being blamed as a contributing factor for the housing affordability crisis in that city. Of course, the argument being all the housing stock is being used on short-term rentals and it's not allowing locals to buy in. The mayor there has pledged to phase out short-term tourist leases by 2028, hoping that by that period, the city can return 10,000 apartments to the residential market. Barcelona is not the first jurisdiction to impose additional regs on Airbnb or VRBO or short-term leasing options. Here in British Columbia, where I call home, the provincial government has done something similar, limiting locals to renting out their primary residence and or one additional secondary suite. No more scooping up multiple properties and running an Airbnb business of leasing out several properties as a mini hotel owner. This is something we're going to see, we are seeing everywhere, and we're going to see a lot more of, which is more jurisdictions looking at ways to restrict short-term leasing. Not necessarily because we're facing a housing affordability crisis in many of these markets, although that is true, and it's a very convenient political excuse, but because it was inevitable. It's one of the immutable laws of public affairs, which is this: every industry faces more regulation or is on a path towards more regulation, whether they like it or not. The Airbnb case study is one that many industries can look to as to explain the natural arc of the regulatory environment. And as I walk you through this arc, you can probably realize that your industry fits somewhere along this cycle. And here's how it goes. A new service comes on the scene. And when it does, it fits into a regulatory gray zone. It can be Airbnb, it can be Uber. Regulators then don't know how to handle that change. So they apply the methods that they're comfortable with. And that usually means a heavy hand in regulating the new industry. And when it does so, it typically pisses off consumers who have a novel appreciation for this new service or this new offering, and they want it. So then the regulators face backlash. They begrudgingly let the new industry thrive for a little while, and then they resort to chipping away at the regulatory regime bit by bit. A little change there, a little tweak here, let's fix a loophole there. And what you find is that with more time, the regulatory landscape becomes more complex, more restrictive, which then means more expensive for the business. No business can escape regulation.